Annyeonghaseyo, all my beautiful people. How are you all doing today? Welcome to the alternate point of view. My name is Tracy Lee, and I am thankful for each and every one of you who do watch this channel. Welcome to anyone who is new, and welcome back to all of you faithful viewers, even the mean ones. So I want to say that today we watched the Halyna Gutierrez sentencing. It was really sad. I know I did, if you want to check out my prior videos throughout the trial was tough. It was hard because coming from the industry, I have been on sets, and I know that it's very chaotic. It's tough being on a set, watching the crew. The crew works so hard. So I was looking at it from that lens. And I was looking at it from the lens that, you know, the crew have a lot of work to do. I also looked at it from the lens that she was hired to do a specific job, being the armorer. And I do believe that she got the job based on her father, who is a very experienced armorer, very well known in the industry. She was very young, 23, 24 years old. She didn't really know much about being an armorer. I do believe that just because her father was an armorer didn't mean that made her an automatic armorer. And I also learned a lot about the industry itself, which is interesting because pretty much anyone can be in the industry. And actually that's true, because being a background actor myself, they pluck anyone off the street. You know, like you just have to submit a picture to be a background actor because they don't care because you're in the background. So as long as you dress in the attire that you bring that matches the scene, you can be in the background and you get paid for that. Much with the crew. The crew don't really have to have much experience. As long as you're willing to haul heavy stuff around and do the job, show up 12, 16 hours a day and work for the very minimal pay that they give you, then, you know, heck yeah, bring it on. They're willing to do it. So that's the lens that I was looking at it, because they do work very hard, I will say. But for specific jobs like what Halyna Gutierrez was hired to do, which was be the armorer, armorers are supposed to be specifically trained. And what I learned in the trial was that she didn't even hold a concealed carry permit, which you would think would be quite important. Now, something I also learned is that she didn't have, let's say, training lessons with anyone on the set for this movie Rust. I am very realistic when it comes to movies that have to do with weapons, because I am pretty experienced, but I'm not an expert, okay? My boyfriend is very experienced. He's not, I would say, as experienced as the guy who trains Keanu Reeves experienced, but he could go up against that guy and handle his own. But he's not Navy SEAL trained experienced, but he has gone up against Navy SEAL guys and beat them pretty well. But we do know the sound of a 48 caliber or a 9mm or, you know, an AR or an AK. We know the difference between. It's just like he used to race motorcycles, so he knows the difference between a dirt bike sound, you know, a Yamaha and a Honda CBR and a Suzuki, a Kawasaki, all of those, because he used to race motorcycles. So when they try to throw in a sound of a motorcycle, all those sounds come in at the end. Okay, so they edit those sounds in. So whenever we watch a movie and he hears, you know, a scooter and it sounds like a race bike, it's kind of comical. So these are things that are not, as we call it in the industry, consistent. It's not consistent. And that's what they go for in movies and film, is consistency. So that's what props are for. That's what those people on the crew are for. Well, Hannah's job, her main job, her only job, was supposed to be making sure and ensuring that the weapons on set were the same weapons for the same characters with the same types of ammunition every time, every scene, every day. So if I were to be in a scene and I wore these glasses every scene, I had these glasses every scene, and for some reason I came to my scene and I were not wearing these glasses, and that has actually happened to me before, and I weren't wearing these glasses, and I went through the entire scene without the glasses, and no one noticed, no one paid attention. Even I didn't notice. I didn't pay attention because I'm just doing my scene. No one said anything, and that scene got put into the film. Everyone in the movie theater, if the scene is really good and the movie is really, really good, may not notice, may not. But some people could think throughout the movie and go, hey, wait a minute, wasn't she wearing glasses earlier? But then she wasn't wearing glasses? Those kind of things can throw a whole movie off. So Hannah didn't pay attention to her job. And she tried to blame it on the fact that they had her doing props in between being an armorer. Now, the entire film did not require guns on the set, but somehow, some way, live ammunition came onto the set. And they claim, they alleged, and it was proven that Hannah was the one who brought the live ammunition on the set. And Hannah is the one who put that live ammunition in the gun belts and in the weapons. Now, these were not old Western weapons. Some of these weapons came from another film set. Some of the ammo came from another film set. This happens all the time. I worked on Walker, and Walker, we used stuff from Yellowstone. We used stuff from, we had a lot of crew from Yellowstone, a lot of crew from 1928, a lot of crew. I mean, the amount of crew that just goes everywhere, a lot of crew from The Walking Dead. So we had a lot of stuff that they share through other sets, and that's exactly what Russ did. So they used a lot of props from, I believe it was 1928 was the film that they used a lot of, the show they used a lot of props from. So they got a lot of their ammo from there, but Hannah had brought some ammo from home. Now, this was a very low budget film, and I know people don't understand low budget, big budget, what have you. Big budget films are like Marvel movies, okay? Those are big budget. Low budget is when you're maybe spending, and I'm talking, this has to be spread out between the crew, the catering, the actors' pay, the production, the editing, everything, okay? So I'm not really sure how much of the budget this film had, like maybe, let's just throw a number out there, $1.5 million. That sounds like a lot of money to some people, but when you're talking about a movie budget, that's very, very small, because you got to pay all of these people. And extras, I will tell you, make like minimal, $80 for, you could be on the set for 12 hours and you're just sitting there. It's a lot of hurry up and wait, because you're lucky if you're getting, maybe they'll pick you, but you get paid. But you have no agency rights, no union rights, no nothing. So Hannah was non-union. She was hoping that this was going to get her to union status by being on this big movie set with Alec Baldwin. And she was hoping this was going to get her somewhere, and this movie was going to make it somewhere. Alec Baldwin's always wanted to do a Western, so this is what he was doing. But a lot of corners were cut because they hired a non-union armorer, an armorer that had zero experience. So this is something that is everybody's got to get a start somewhere, right? And this is where her start was. This is what she got. But she was doing drugs, and this is very common in the industry, okay? Very common. Not an excuse, but very common. So she was found guilty and culpable for the murder, a homicide, involuntary manslaughter of Halyna Hutchins. Halyna Hutchins was married. She had a son. From all accounts, she was an amazing cinematographer. she could see things through a lens that, and that's one of the things I look for in film is cinematography. Cinematography is a whole different ball game. It's a whole different talent. It is something that brings a movie to life. Like the acting reels you in, the cinematography really reels you into a film. And that is what Halyna Hutchins could do. She could really bring a movie to life. She could bring, make a scene look so natural and so real and so out of this world magical. Like she could really take you in. And it would have been exciting to see her work on this film because she could take you into that era. So at the sentencing hearing, we heard from a lot of Halyna's friends. Her husband was not there. We heard from the director, Joel Souza. We heard from, and oddly enough, you know, because Alec Baldwin has a trial of his own coming up, I think it's sad that he didn't speak about her or even send a letter about her being, you know, because I just find it odd that there were some people that did not speak about her. But they're in the industry. This is how it works in the industry, you know. And he does have a pending trial, so it probably was by his attorney's advice to not say anything. And he is also trying to get his trial dismissed, which is not going to work. And I wonder what this verdict and this conviction and sentencing says for Alec Baldwin when he goes on trial, because he was the producer, the executive producer, the main actor in this trial. And a lot of the videos that they showed in this trial for Hannah showed him hurrying and rushing things along because he wanted to get the scenes. And he was very egotistical. He's very narcissistic. You can see that in the back scene, takes. So what's odd to me is that Hannah showed zero emotion during the trial. She didn't really. She looked kind of almost like a librarian during the trial, which is not how she looked during being on set. Obviously, being on set, you're weird. You're an actor. You're in acting industry. You're weird. Every one of us are weird in some kind of way. That's what makes us actors and crew people and all that. We're kind of crazy, weird people, but we're fun, you know. But we're our own kind of fun in our own kind of bubble. But in the courtroom, she was very modest and really didn't show a lot of emotion. She was very attentive to her trial. She was making a lot of notes and passing them to her attorney. She really did feel as if she had no wrong. She proudly showed in her interview and interrogation how she kept all this ammunition in her pockets. She had a fanny pack. She had zero organizational skills whatsoever. So she did not keep up with where the weapons were, where the ammo was. She didn't check the ammo because, I mean, you can't have a fanny pack full of ammo and not check it and not make sure that the ammo is blank, empty, or loaded. If you have just ammo laying around everywhere. So during the people speaking on behalf of Halyna was a great person. She was very generous. She was a happy person. She immigrated here from Ukraine. She followed her dreams to be a cinematographer and hoped one day to be a director herself. She had been married to the same man for 16 years. They had a beautiful son together. She was a wonderful mother. She enjoyed her job. She loved her job. She loved art. She was wonderful to her friends. You can tell that, you know, she was very loved. And you could tell she was very talented. And it's a great loss to her friends and her family. Her husband was so devastated by what happened to her that he just basically just has disappeared. So it's very sad. And I did see emotion out of Hannah during this, these speeches that people were giving. And I thought, okay, I'm finally seeing Hannah show some type of, sadness, because she knew Hannah. I mean, she knew Halyna for, at least a couple of months. And you do grow as a type of family on a set. You do get to know each other in a way because you spend all your time with these people. So it made me feel like she finally was getting, the idea that someone important, someone that meant something to people is gone, and has been now for over 2 years. It's been over 2 years, you guys. So she was crying. I could tell that the words were making an impact on her. And then when it came her turn to talk, she apologized. She said she was sorry, and she hoped that the families could somehow heal. But what she didn't say was that she was sorry for not doing a better job at her job. She didn't say, I should have checked the ammunition. She didn't take responsibility for her lack of action. She didn't say, I'm sorry I didn't do better. It was her attorney who said she was remorseful. There was zero remorse that came from Hannah. So still, for Hannah, who is now like 25, maybe 26, she does not understand that she holds and bears some type of responsibility, regardless of the shortcuts that were taken on the set, regardless of the Alec Baldwin being the rushing director, rushing producer, whatever he was, actor, lead star. Regardless of all of those things, Hannah had a job to do, and she failed at her job. And she did not take responsibility. And there were several different types of sentencing that she could have done to her. She could have gotten probation. She asked for probation. That is one thing she did. She asked for probation. 18 months is the max sentence she could get. After all of this, 18 months. So she could have gotten anywhere from probation. She could have gotten 12 months in detention and no prison time. Now, this is all of these options are no prison time. She could have gotten the 12 months in detention and the rest on probation. She could have gotten 18 months in prison, or she could spend her 18 months in detention. There were many options the judge had. But what made the judge give her the max sentence in prison, the 18 months in prison, was Hannah herself. Hannah not taking responsibility, not saying, I am so sorry that I didn't check, that I brought loaded ammunition onto the set. It was Hannah's lack of responsibility that sealed her own fate. And that, my friends, is why Hannah will now serve a full 18 months in prison, and not a detention center, not probation, none of the easy way outs that she wanted. She's going to prison, and she will be a convicted felon for the rest of her life. So I hope this teaches people a lesson, you guys. There are consequences and repercussions for every action. It is exactly like our Einstein said, for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So, you guys, kids, especially young people today, you can't willy-nilly things and think nothing's going to happen to you. Something's going to happen. So, Hannah, something's going to happen. It happened. You didn't do your job. You were too young. You took on something that you shouldn't have. You thought you were going to put your big girl pants on and you weren't ready. And someone died. Someone lost their life. Joel Souza almost lost his life because there were 2 people shot. So now Alec Baldwin's trial is coming up next. We will definitely be covering that because I want to see if Alec Baldwin is going to get more evidence will come out. So I definitely want to see what comes out for Alec Baldwin. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think that it was fair? I think the sentence is pretty low, actually, for involuntary manslaughter. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think that Hollywood, the industry is lackadaisy? Because trust me, I know. I've been on sets. I know it's pretty lackadaisy. So what do you guys think? And I appreciate you all watching and tuning in. Please like, subscribe, and share. And for those of you who have anything mean to say, please feel free. Leave comments. I love all your comments. Kasamnida.